When the parents are hearing and have a deaf child, communication can be a problem. They may never have met a deaf person before and have no experience with sign language or successful deaf adults. Most children are mainstreamed into their neighborhood school, and the children rarely meet other deaf children or learn about the deaf community here in Rochester. In the summer of 2006, the Rochester City School District held a summer program at School Number 8 that gave 5 deaf students with a wide range of deafness, sign skills, and age a chance to be in class together. In addition to working on academic skills, these students worked on learning to communicate with each other and expand their horizons in a variety of areas. Each of the students communicated in a different way. One signed fluently, another used cued speech, another knows no sign, and the other's minimal sign. I am Angela Vilavong. I am deaf and use American Sign Language as my primary means of communication. I'll take you with me through their summer experience. In the classroom, students work on educational and fun activities. Every day, they work on a book with an adult in the room. Each student works at a different level and uses a different method to try to understand the book. One student, Hannah, signs the book while reading it to help herself. Through her signing, she understands the story the same way a hearing student might if they read it aloud to themselves. Elsewhere in the classroom, students are working on new vocabulary, with an aide trying to teach them the new words and the meaning in sign as well. They write about the story, showing they understood it. After the reading activity, students were given free time to socialize, or to play games with classmates. During game time, Hannah uses sign the most and tries to communicate with her classmates using sign and gestures. The students seem to have figured out how to understand each other, even with their different ways of communicating, and they have a good time together. One student doesn't use sign at all, but fingerspells to Hannah and I. He found this very slow, so Hannah and I taught him some signs and encouraged him to use sign, and he tried. Other students knew a little sign, but everyone had fun trying to talk to one another. The teachers focused on 2 projects this summer, cooking and flight. The students really enjoyed learning how to cook and making airplanes, kites, and helicopter-shaped spinners. In the first cooking lesson, they made cinnamon toast using the oven to cook. Then the teachers taught the students to make pancakes, measuring the pancake powder, eggs, and other things, and then cooking the pancakes on a griddle. The lessons in flight taught what was important for flight to happen, things like lift and draft. Teacher Kurt Kohler showed a paper airplane to the class and explained how it worked and who invented it. The students were excited to make their own flying things and experiment with them. They made several different types of flying things and also saw how things in nature fly too. Once they made the flyers, they went to the top of the stairs and dropped all the different things they made to see how well they flew. Another important part of the summer program were the many field trips. The field trips gave the students the opportunity to see more of Rochester and a chance to get out and have fun and socialize. The first field trip was to Regal Movie Theater to watch Madagascar. The students laughed at the movie, but unfortunately for the students, there were no open captions or an interpreter. However, they were still able to understand much of the movie from the funny animation and characters. The following week, they went to Adventure Landing, an activity center full of arcade games, Nerf balls, and miniature golf. The students were all hyper and excited and ran around playing arcade games and shooting Nerf balls in the factory. They had great fun and talked a lot about what they did and won that day. Later in the month, the students went on a special field trip to the Buffalo Bills training camp at St. John Fisher College. They watched the Buffalo Bills team practicing and took part in the Bills' Kid Space, where they could run, play football-type games, and do the balloon drills, which let them pretend to be football blockers. A few days later, the class went to the newly opened and renovated Strong Museum, where they saw the butterflies exhibit and many other things the museum offers to children. Only 2 students were allowed to go in the butterflies exhibit, and they were both afraid of the butterflies. While working the camera, I told them the butterflies don't bite and won't hurt you at all. I convinced Hannah to go up to where the butterflies were eating orange slices. Hannah stood there for a moment, and it seemed she finally started to get interested in watching them. As the end of the summer was drawing near, the class traveled to Charlotte Beach to play in the sun and to ride on the Harbor Belle boat. The students loved going under the lift bridge that opened up to let the big boat go through. They learned a lot about the Genesee River and liked meeting the captain and his crew. One of his crew even knew a little sign language and could talk to them. After the boat ride, we went to the beach and tried to fly the kites the students had designed in art class. There were only 2 kites that managed to get up, but it was nice to see the waves flow, watch the birds sitting on the beach, see Mary try to make the birds fly away, and I created shadow animals in the sand. We had a great time this summer. It was a new experience for me to be in a class with deaf and hard of hearing children who could not sign and struggled to communicate with me. I was excited to see that as the weeks went on, they became comfortable with me and began to try to sign. I think they also saw that it was possible to be deaf and a normal teenager who plays sports, knows about computer games, and makes films. It was encouraging to see them start to take more pride in who they are. As a whole, the summer program gave them support, a chance to learn, and to have fun. I also hope they learned something more about who they are as deaf students, and as children discovering this great world around them.